The family are going to provide more than just a vignette of Wayne's life to us. The eulogy will be more complete than many that we will ever know, for there are places and pieces of his life that are unknown to many of us, and they will come full circle as we celebrate his life so well lived. I invite David, his son, to come forward and to share his word, and he will be followed by Jeffrey and then Michael.
On behalf of myself, my mother, my brothers Jeff and Michael, my daughters Rachel and Alyssa, I'd like to thank you very much for being here today. It means a great deal to the family. We are here to remember and celebrate the life of a great man. My father was filled with an abundance of love, and from him I obtained many of my most cherished qualities, which he embodied: passion, compassion, romance, and integrity. Fortunately, I got my mother's hair. Thank you for that, Mom. I'm sorry, Dad. My dad was one of the most selfless people I've ever met, almost to a fault. He touched many people and was a living testament to loving and treating others as you would have them treat you. When others share with me their memories of my father, they are always smiling. We all have fond memories and loving memories because that is the impact he had on people. When I reflect upon my dad's life, I smile as well. They are memories of a loving father, a man who was not afraid to be himself, and who sought to leave the world a better place, which he did. As the oldest son, it was inevitable that my dad and I had our fair share of battles. At 13, I was convinced that my dad really didn't know a thing. By the time I turned 20, I was amazed at how much he'd learned in 7 years. And it was quite an epiphany when I realized that my dad had actually been a kid once. It helped explain why he was always able to stay one step ahead of me, which really freaked me out for a long time. As I reflect on my father's life, there are certain memories that stand out for me. They are events that have shaped my life and have helped me become the man that I am today. The most at peace I ever saw my dad was on the Severn River. He loved that river. When we went sailing, few things were ever spoken, but much was communicated. He taught me that when you connect with your passion, you keep your soul and feed your soul at peace. And the Severn was a place that he found peace. When he died, I pictured him finally at peace in a beautiful white boat sailing down the Severn, and that brought me peace. I have numerous memories of how much my dad loved and adored my mother. My most vivid is the day when my mother was putting on makeup, and my dad walked in and said, "Betty, why are you putting on makeup? It's like touching up a Rembrandt. Why mess with perfection?" He taught me that the importance of a balanced life is critical, of knowing and protecting life's priorities. He taught me the importance and gift of romance, of poetry, flowers, and cards for no reason. My dad was a hopeless romantic, and I'm grateful for that gift. I'll always carry that torch for him. I remember Dad on the radio. God, he was such a natural in the air. You could feel how much he loved his work. People he'd never met considered him a friend and invited them into their homes every day because it was fun to have Wayne there. He taught me that if you love what you do, you're really working. You're playing, but they pay you for it. My dad knew his calling in the 4th grade. He was a little frustrated with his sons as they struggled to find their calling, but it was hard to determine who was more excited, he or I, when I finally found it. He bought me my first drum set and then somehow convinced me not to seek rock stardom. He bought me my first computer and then shared in my exhilaration and our joint joy as I used it to change my life. I remember very fondly our summer vacations in Ocean City, Maryland. Every summer, We'd jam that VW Bug full of beach towels and surfboards and turtles and Pop-Tarts. There wasn't enough room to sneeze in that car, and I'm sure that the load was illegal in all 50 states, but it's the most fun we'd ever had. He taught me that life is not about having what you want, but wanting what you have. That time with people is more important than times with things or stuff, and that the most important things in life you can't buy. And finally, I remember my dad teaching me how to ride a bike. I was quite certain of wanting to learn how to ride that bike, but quite uncertain of my ability to do so. My dad patiently walked me through the equipment and the process, gave me a short demo, and then he gave me a push. And to my amazement, I rode, partially because he showed me how, but mostly because I knew that my dad would be there with a hug and a shovel if I failed. It was not the last time my dad would have to give me a push in life. As a father now, I appreciate that some of my dad's hardest moments in life were giving me a much-needed push and being ready with what he liked to refer to as that hug and the shovel. I never made this easy, but he never gave up on me. He loved and cared enough for me to help me seek not what I wanted, but what I needed in life. That's what God does so lovingly and so selfishly. And he trained my father very, very well. So while my dad is not physically here with us now, he is not gone from us. Every time someone speaks to his 3 sons, they will see my dad's best attributes. We all carry a piece of him in our memories, which likely make us laugh. And for the rest of my life, when I need a push, which if you know me pretty well will be very often, I know that he will be close by with that hug and that shovel. He'll be happy to know it's a gift I'm passing on to his grandchildren. So Dad, I'm not saying goodbye. I'm saying see you later. Have fun sailing. Please continue to help me see the bigger picture and resolve my ignorant, stubborn ways. Thank you for your patience and your unconditional love. I love you, Dad.